How's it going, everybody? It's Man Tomorrow here, giving people a couple seconds to come in, hit the like upon coming in, because this is something that we need to talk about, and we're not going to let these people off the hook, and we need to be able to discuss these things as they come in, so that way they can be able to actually explain themselves throughout the administration that is going on here, because it is vitally important that you understand that this for-profit gaslighting of the country in general, but the left in specific, they know what they're doing. It's profit driven. They know what they're doing. Like Black Ram 313 knows that he can't discuss this stuff in open discussion with anybody on the planet, nor does Ohim, the cryptocurrency podcast, nor does BGS more. They know this. They know they're running actual interference for the right wing. But see, you can only do this if you don't understand the history of it. But it's always ahistorical conservatism is what they hide behind. And this is a failure of black men in specific and in whole. Period. The only way you can pretend that you're winning with what's going on here is that you don't know the history. There's no need to go in on them specifically, but you have to understand that most of these people are here for money. Period. You got people who claim that they're in the middle. What's going on right now is exactly what happens when you see when libertarians get power. This is exactly how libertarians act. Libertarians act like right wingers the moment they get more power than anyone else. Now, Donald Trump did not run on the platform of putting another billionaire in charge of shutting down government organizations. Actually, he ran a campaign on not going to prison. That's what his campaign was. Not going to prison. Things that he done, the judiciary let him off the hook with that. And that judiciary is still in place. And that judiciary is actually in violation of a lot of laws by actually colluding with one another to let people off the hook. In any other country, this would be called a coup, but it's the United States of America. Now, when Trump first got elected, 2016, you seen a ton of people out there representing the fact that they actually voted for the guy. Where are those people right now? You don't see nobody with any type of MAGA hats on. You don't see none of that stuff. But apparently he won, right? Nothing about his campaign meant that he was going to put another billionaire in charge of shutting down government organizations, as I said earlier. Now, you have to understand that there is a specific and particular reason why non working class black men actually are happy about the things Trump are doing or is doing. These people are happy for the simple fact that the women aren't in charge. But the women aren't in charge was the reason why you couldn't actually socialize and operate together, correct? The women were so powerful that you couldn't go out and actually organize on your own stead. So now the women are not in charge right now. So now all that care about black boys and all that kind of nonsense, none of that stuff makes any sense anymore because now they're cutting all the actual diversity programs. It's not because we became a better country, people were able to actually compete on an actual level that was equal. None of that stuff mattered. What mattered was we're going to use Mexicans, we're going to use transgendered, and we're going to use those issues as an actual level to which we're not going to be able to come through and do things on our own. Transgendered and Mexicans are the reason why you don't have a job. Transgendered and Mexicans are the reason why you don't have your shit together. A woman not being submissive in society is the reason why you never went out and did all the things that you were supposed to do as a man. It was those people. It wasn't you, it was those people, right? So people think that they have this stuff figured out about where this administration is going. No one knows where this administration is going. Look, my career field, the transportation sector. Now, you may look at it as, okay, you're making more money. No, we're making more money, but we're doing it with less people, which means most of the people who are here who was in this sector are no longer here. Now, it would be a smarter thing overall for personnel to create an actual force to replace those people in this field before they just kick them out of it, right? Because that's what all these people claimed that they were here for. That there were so many jobs and they couldn't get one. And if you could just slow things down a bit, so that way the people who just come through the gate without no type of training, don't even learn how to speak English or anything else, if you slow that down, then that way they can be able to keep up. Because right now I'm in rural Pennsylvania, a place where I wanted to be at because I wanted to catch a snow before it came in because I want to see how their mountains look out here versus, other places in the United States. Colorado and Utah being the actual most of it. Everywhere I go in these small towns, you have a lot of these people stuck in these small towns. They didn't go off to college. They expected the same actual outcomes that their parents have. That's how come they're living in their parents' house. But working at Goodwill, liquor stores, small truck stops, burger joints, ain't gonna be able to pay that mortgage. Neither are those taxes. And most times when these houses go back out to the local market here in the middle of nowhere, they go back out to the market at a rate to where nobody locally can afford it. No one can afford that. Not off one income. And I mean, they have warehouse work out here, but those people are not even making $30 to $35 an hour, which would easily support these real estate prices. But they're making far less than that. But if you jump on a plane and land in Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, even some places in Mississippi, they make far more than these people make here for the same work. And I'm only using that is because the only thing people got left is to pretend like the pain and suffering that is going towards other groups of people isn't coming towards them at some point. If most shippers are not actually shipping things right now, that's a bad sign for 4 or 5 months from now. A very bad sign. And I understand a lot of these people, they're too stupid to actually qualify for the DEI programs and everything else that's there. That's on the black side. White people see that black people even having a chance at actually having any type of chance to move forward is somehow good. It's not going to help them either. The reason why you have billionaires in this country is because that labor wage was stolen from Americans, white in specific, black generalized, other minorities also generalized. But these people identify so much with the people who's screwing them over that they actually think that they're going to benefit off of what's going on here. You're not going to benefit off what's going on here. If Elon Musk can invest $250 million in a presidential campaign to the point to where he now is shutting down parts of the actual government, part of the government that he wasn't elected to. Donald Trump was on the ballot, he won fair and square. Unless you have any type of evidence to convince me otherwise, he won fair and square. He won all those states, those Arabs in the actual area of Detroit, seen what his actual move was. They thought that they was going to make a power play, they was going to vote for Trump, and they immediately got screwed over. Okay? Immediately got screwed over. Because a lot of these people don't understand that the biggest interest group in this country is whiteness. And it always have been whiteness. Period. So it's nobody's fault that they don't understand this. The whole point was never understanding history. The only thing they cared about was their position in this country over other people. And the simple fact that they understood their parents' plight, but their parents' plight is not their plight. Their parents had an actual, real big head start when it came to education. A real big head start when it came to education that they did not take up in their own generation. They wanted to sit back and they wanted to benefit like their parents did. And that didn't work. And it's like most black people did the same thing. Most black people wanted to benefit off liberals fighting for everything while they sit back and they don't participate in the process. You see that now. Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed. It doesn't matter. Pro black means anti black progress. And that's what it is. And it's always been that way. That's why all these pro blacks live in these high apathy black cities. That's why they don't live in the South. If you actually live in the South, you would not be able to survive 5 minutes off saying that you're a Trump supporter. Most whites down south don't fuck with Trump either, even though they voted for him. You can't come out today and say that you actually voted for the guy where all the things are going to hit. It's going to hit the South first, and it's going to hit the South hardest. But we got a lot of fixed income thousandaires who thought that they was going to benefit off this process and system because black women wasn't in charge. Black women was never in charge of anything. But they wanted to make it look like it seemed so and celebrate the actual gains of things that was happening. This is why most of these dudes were kicked out of the white manosphere, because the white dudes over in the white manosphere, they didn't want to talk about your issues with black women. They get a ton of cooperation out of the women over there. And they even date, on average, far harder women that you dumbass dudes are stuck with here in the black manosphere. So you have to understand that most of these dudes who's running this interference for white guys, that they don't receive anything for, it's on purpose. They can only benefit from a broken society. They can only benefit from things not working. They can only benefit by pretending that they're in crypto. They can pretend. It's pretend. But most of these dudes don't have any type of identity. Period. That's how they get sucked up in this manosphere shit and support the wrong people because they support the wrong people on purpose. You think it's Keisha that actually don't like following dudes who got their shit together? It's not. It is these fucking men who don't want to get their shit together. It is the men who don't want to separate from toxic women. It is the fucking men who want to sit back and run this game on other individuals. It is the fucking men. It ain't the fucking women. Because if it was the women, you would get with another group of cultured individuals and the situation and circumstance would be different. But since these people don't have any choice on doing that, they want to blame the actual individuals who are stuck here. And that's their fault. And yes, most of these people are sex traffickers. They are. The ones who travel and the ones who are here. Every time most of these dumbass individuals leave a house, they are on the hunt for a better sexual meal. That's what it is. And it's always been that way. Somehow we see it when it's passport bros, but somehow we don't see it when dudes are claiming to be pimps online. Somehow we don't see it when dudes claim to have all this game online. Anybody who claims that they got game, you should knock their teeth out of their fucking head, like nearly immediately. Because that is a guy who's trying to keep this situation the way that it currently is. They're not trying to deal with different women. And when it comes down to actually a man standing on principle, it ain't the women. It ain't the women at all who tell you that shit's not possible. It's another dude who's telling you that he's not going to stand on principle. He's not going to stand on anything. He's not going to do anything. These are the individuals who's doing this. And it's always been this way. Look, the only thing you had to do was get your shit together and fucking settle. That's all you had to do. And most of the people left the manosphere the moment they understood that. Most of the people who are left in the black manosphere are people who don't understand that. And they would rather pretend that they don't understand American history. Just so that way they can feel like they won because black women ain't in charge of shit. And it really wasn't that many black women in charge of things in the first place. Most of these pro blacks are running interference for Donald Trump. Yvette Carnell, Tone Talks. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if your pro blackness doesn't have a participation in actual political discussion as a part of it, you are a fucking fraud. And you always have been. Ever so slightly, every single election cycle, that most personnel upgrade their actual political understanding even a little bit, it doesn't make any sense to claim that you're pro black without any type of political engagement. Most of these people live in the South. Yes, they do. They're barely productive, but at the end of the day, they don't want things to change. They love things the way that it currently is. They love the fact that they're just a little bit more productive than anybody else. They hide behind broken fucking women and their fucking dangerous, dumbass choices that they've made with their womb. They hide behind that shit. They hide behind it and they defend these bad women like it is. Because at the end of the day, most of these pro blacks are not dealing with a one and done. They're not. The only thing that they're actually dealing with are the personnel who are on their second and third relationship choice after they done had a couple of kids. Which means you wasn't their fucking first choice. You wasn't. You wasn't. I keep telling people there ain't nothing fresh out here. At the end of the fucking day, how do you raise a child in an environment where you're not even participating in the actual conversation of making shit different? You're not even organizing to make shit change. all this complaint and talk about actual child support, who the fuck have put shit on the actual ballot in their own state to change that shit? Who done it? None of them done it. None of them. None of them have done it, which means that they want to act just like the woman in the environment. They actually want to actually have just as amount of illicit sex as she had, if not more, and walk away from the responsibilities as such. You don't have to look at anything else other than BGS Itmore, Ron Wells, and most of these fucking PhDs. They came here to this space to grift off of broken fucking men. That's what they came here for. They didn't come here to change anything in society. Keason Johnson didn't come here to change anything in society. He came here to make money off of you dumb motherfuckers who don't get life. It's so easy to be better than a fucking PhD right now. 3 weeks, targeted actual education. You can have your income to the point to where you ain't got to worry about a PhD trying to drain you of your actual critical thinking skills and get you focused on shit that it ain't supposed to be. Yeah, they're here to weaken you, not strengthen you. They're here to weaken you. Most of these men are doing the same thing. They celebrate or act like it's not a big deal for DEI programs to actually be destroyed. You have to understand that the reason why they have to have those programs in the first place is regardless of your education and everything else, they still wasn't picking your ass anyway to put you up there. But that's okay with the people who's trying to feast off a broken corpus of the actual black community. They're okay with that shit. Diallo, same thing for you too. FD signifier, same thing for you too. At the end of the day, these people want to go after soft targets. They don't want to fix anything. That's why they routinely complained about weak ass men in the fucking black manosphere. They never came after me because at the end of the day, I'll fly to your motherfucking house and show you that you ain't what the fuck you want. I can show you that all this pro black shit is bullshit. And these animals make sure they're like it don't even stop with those guys. You got Dennis Sperling. That guy ain't stupid. He know he's marketing to a bunch of fucking idiots. And he lives in Houston. But at the end of the day, when it comes to actually the change of things, no one has any idea about that. Dude, it ain't even trucking school. You can become a dental hygienist in 3 weeks, making $25 an hour. You can become HVAC certified, or at least on the road to becoming certified, 3 weeks. Start off at $18 to $24 an hour. Trust me, those ain't the only career fields. They're just two of like 40 career fields where you can go get direct training and get your ass out there and work. It ain't CDL school. CDL school is obvious. But when you have people who don't want to get their shit together, they just want the woman to get her shit together so that way they can be a dude on the couch from Half Baked. That's what they want. The only thing they want to give is DNA, nothing else. And to leave this child stuck with these women so that way that child can grow up thinking that the whole earth don't even care about them when they should have been cared about themselves. At the end of the day, black men were always at the forefront of selling out the black community, not the black women. The seven PhDs who actually graduated from my small ass fucking high school in Greenville, Mississippi, all the motherfuckers are out here doing shit for black men and women in the fucking community. You think these men are doing that shit? I think I probably have two doctors who actually graduated, even out of that small ass class of 76 people. At the end of the day, the women are far outpacing the men when it comes to progress. Far outpacing. And at this point, you have to ask yourself, when did this ahistorical conservatism meet up with what is actually happening in society right now? When does it become an actual idea where you have to actually be invested and involved in the process before you get something out of it? Oh, you don't want to know what's coming down the pipe, but I'm here to watch you suffer because it is coming down the pipe, right? So I just want, whenever it does happen, I want these crypto motherfuckers, these trolling black women over and over again dudes, and I want them to help you out with shit. Because if they're not investigating discrimination when it comes to banking, housing, or job environments, how in the hell, if you are a real estate person, that you're going to be able to actually sell anyone black anything? Or did you divest from the process because you are in real estate and you do not care and you do not give a damn? Again, I'm just telling you what's going on and what's coming down the pipe. But at the end of the day, this shit is still up to you. If you have the same complaints that you had 10 years into the black manosphere, then you were obviously here to sabotage and destroy our actual environment here. By acting like you fake friends with people who are actually wanting meaningful change and want to replace most of the people here who want things to work better with a whole bunch of dumbass dudes who don't want to get anything done anyway. Again, you really think the women was the worst part of the black manosphere? It wasn't. It never was. It was the dudes who never wanted change. Said the real thing for the $4 super stick. But that's what it is. It's the dudes who never wanted change, who grafted themselves onto the black manosphere, who knew full well that they didn't want things to be better because their life wasn't going to be better. That's the point. Like most of these child support dudes, most of these dudes who don't have custody of their kids, why on earth would they turn around and give you the best information to have a better life outcome than they do? Why the fuck would they do that? I kept telling you, these people never wanted to do that. And you knew they never wanted to do that. But with your brand new chance on getting with different people other than the people in your life, you know what you did? You supported the wrong fucking people. I don't need your support. I'm already in the seven-figure range. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to dent my income. My income is not based on broken men and broken women because nothing disgusts me more than a broken man who can't figure simple shit out. And the same goes for the women, period. If you want to be off the market, you would already be off the market. A lot of these dudes want to settle for anything. There's no real reason to be sitting here pretending like you give a fuck about things. That's what I'm saying. And the whole point ain't six figures. It's six figures and keeping that shit to yourself, not six figures and giving that shit away on some frivolous giveaway shit. But at the end of the day, a lot of these dudes don't have any intention on getting their shit together because they want to qualify for a lowly complicated situation so that way they can maintain these complaints. That's what the black community is now. Maintaining the actual complaints of yesteryear. The what's going on, man?
Oh, MOT, man, I'm doing well, but I think you pretty much nailed it. lack of progress, ahistorical. People run around here talking about they're conservatives, have no idea what the hell that's all about. Talking about they're conservatives, but yet they're complaining about their women and expecting conser- conservatives on the other side to take care of that whole situation for them. Their desire to get proximity to whiteness and think they're going to take on the power when these
Yeah.
when these folks are literally trying to take everything from you if they can, and you're sitting here apolitical, ahistorical, and not pushing progress, but yet think things are going to advance. You know, these people were not here to do anything to advance you. We you know that's well understood. You have to say you express that perfectly. I don't think there's much else I can say except, it just bothers me to see that this is where things are. But they're brothers that are in this sphere, that are in this chat and other places, whose minds are focused on some of the right things and thoroughly understand what's going on. I did see brother Amiri in here. He ran for public office.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
really trying to advance the bottom line as well. Did a hell of a job. We have to give him a lot of credit. So it's brothers like this who I have to look at and say these are the people who are trying to really develop, expand, and progress, just not for himself, but for us as well. This is what we're about. And it's good to see those types of brothers and these other brothers that are in here, Ronan, XC, and Cedric, and just the whole crew of you. But that's generally what we're really talking about, and um, I think you've expressed it quite well as well, MOT.
Roosevelt, thank you for the power super chat. But at the end of the day, man, like this is supposed to be what's going on, Mom Perry. Like you have to understand that if you can't do it here in the black manosphere, there ain't no way you're doing it outside in the real world. This is the test. This was the test. Are you ready to go to the next level? This was the test. The test is very simple. Do you have what it takes to leave idiots alone and move on to a better life without these problems? That's what this was. The Black Manosphere was an information repository to make sure that you dodge all of these problems because it wasn't the women. It was a lack of action on men's part. I'm gonna say it again. It's not the women. It's a lack of productivity on the man's part. A lack of. If you can't dodge it here, you'll never be able to dodge it anywhere. And you have to realize that this is on you. There is nothing that I'm going to be able to fight for in Colorado that's going to spill over in Mississippi. I had to get my own shit together and move to a better place before I start fighting. That's something I had to do. That's not something that somebody else had to do. That's something I had to do. The productivity piece came first. I'm glad that I landed in Aurora, Colorado after I got out of the military. I'm glad that I was there because you had to produce at a high level in order to stay there. Most of these so-called street dudes and all these other people, year after year after year, they became obsolete. They became obsolete pretty quick. Early 2000s, they became obsolete pretty quick. But at the end of the day, the skills were there. Community College of Aurora, Community College of Denver, Front Range Community College. It was too many places where you can go and get skills and get into a career field. Not to mention all the actual programs that the actual workforce center in Arapahoe County and the city and county of Denver offered. The people who did not get into those actual career fields slowly became obsolete. That's what it was. And they got mad as hell at everybody else who was actually producing and moved forward and past them. And that's nobody else's fault but their own. A lot of people thought that waiting on somebody else to do the work, Nagon, was oppression. They thought them being oppressed is the fact that no one went out here and did this shit for their own stead. They started blaming boomers and everything else for the lack of substance that they have in their own life.
They wanted somebody else to do the work for them, and they would come in and then
Yes, they
claim it.
did.
Claim it. That's that's when you know. That's when you know they're full of shit. I used to always say, I say this all the time. You know, a guy's trying to bullshit you when he doesn't have a bottom line. They don't have a bottom line. They're trying to bullshit you. That's it. These people don't have a bottom line. They just wanted to be out here to say, hey, listen, let me glom on to whatever you have, and I'll claim. And if I don't have, then I'm gonna blame you. And all the brothers out here that are working, kicking it, moving it hard, they understand exactly what it is. Black men on the whole are some hard working mofos. That's what we are.
You
And these
have
real
to.
brothers and these real brothers out here know what time it is. And they're sitting right in here in this chat room as well. And they know what time it is. They know what the deal is. Not a game. Not a game. But you have these carpet baggers and others coming down here to profiteer. And we get that too. And we're going to continue to call these folks out. Continue to call these charlatans out. And one thing I will say this, and I'm not talking about some of the other brothers who call themselves, who are black conservatives and been calling themselves that for a long while. Okay, that's fair enough. But we have seen a lot of other people get exposed for who and what they really are and what they really were standing on. And this, you know, black national, black nationalists or Pan Africanist
Oh,
stuff, and pro black and
completely,
all this. This
completely white supremacists. Completely okay.
these those guys are your white supremacists as well. They're in blackface, but they're your white supremacists.
I
And
call them the graham cracker
the
caucus.
and it's obscene to see it, but they've been exposed. They've been exposed, and continue to expose it, because and some of the stuff you're hearing some of these people saying, it's almost beyond measure. But let them keep talking.
I
Let them
never
keep
thought
talking.
that all these black people pretend to be evangelical Christians. It makes sense why evangelical Christians are silent right now. They're getting everything that they ever wanted, starting with their religious belief that those people should be the hell out of Gaza. Who knew during the administration that they was going to take advantage of an actual nearly genocide going on to let's just use the term air quotes relocate those personnel out of that area, rebuild it, and then not allow them to come back. That's the same shit that happened in Hurricane Katrina. Almost none of those people went back to those neighborhoods after Hurricane Katrina hit. Almost none of them went back there.
That's a fact, and that was a way of moving them
Those
out.
people were actually relocated because I know a lot of them ended up on what used to be Lowry Air Force Base in Aurora. They built all that housing over there, and they had like 4 square foot around the actual house, so-called backyards and stupid shit like that. But there was no other way to put these people.
Mot, do you remember during the whole Katrina event, they were calling those people who were leaving out, brothers and sisters of ours who were there, they were calling them what? Refugees. Do you remember some of that? Some of what they were
Hmm.
calling refugees. I don't know if any of you brothers out there and out here have remember that, but I saw this and I was like, what? Back 2005, and I remember this very well.
Yeah.
Very well. They were calling some of us refugees, and that's how they were treated.
Yes. And when they should have been going after the Catholic Church, because those are the people who actually take care of these people. The Catholic Church came in, put these people in the housing, everything else. Catholic Church profited immensely off of Every time there's a relocation that needs to be done, the Catholic Church get a lot of money. But these people don't understand that. They don't understand how far this goes. They don't understand it. I mean, I guess we can just keep going over how much they don't understand, but at the end of the day, they're the ones who's trying to pretend like they winning off of this stuff happening. Like you're not winning off of by June, this actual economy is going to be done. Because the things that are going on right now, you can't say this is positive. You cannot say that this was a plan. It isn't. You have two billionaires in charge of government. They're ending most minority based programs across the government, period. And I've seen like some special forces grifters. You know, the people who didn't speak up about a billionaire being in charge of the government and shutting down government programs, pretending like they're shocked and surprised that they're not celebrating Black History Month at the fucking Pentagon. And they try to pretend like they're part of the process and everything else. It's like, nah, man. Like you're part of
Unbelievable.
gun culture. That's what you are. You're part of gun culture. A bunch of cowards who think that they get a gun in their hand and all of a sudden they super dude. But at the end of the day, the moment you pull that fucking trigger, you out of there. Unless you're Daniel Penny, you kill yourself a black man, and all of a sudden you get an actual residency at the highest levels of investment in the country
One of the top
because you
investors.
killed a black man.
He's rewarded with a well over six
Rewarded.
figure gig. Rewarded.
Soon as his actual trial was up the next day, he was with Trump in the Air Force Academy. Boxed, pictures taken. And they put it immediately online to show you how much they don't mess with you like that, right?
And you have these Negroes. You have some Negroes out here calling themselves, "Oh, I'm a conservative, and I'm with this cryptos, and I'm with all."
I mean, but you
It's
are conservative because you're trying to conserve the system that's here. So they're not wrong, but it's just that there's an actual backstop of black male ignorance when it comes to actually organizing and power that let this shit happen.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. You want to call yourself conservative, but you're not a part of that conservative network that these guys have
And
going
you
on,
don't live in a conservative area in the state that you live in. You
and
live
you're
in a
not a
liberal
part of that.
area in the state that you live in.
Exactly, and you're not a part of that structure. You're not a class collaborator within that structure. No, you're not.
No.
You're not class collaborative in there. You know,
If Latinos who supported Trump are getting their wives exiled from the country and being relocated to the place of birth, what on earth do you think you're there for? So what they do is they protect themselves from what's actually going on by not knowing the history and having no interest in actually learning
not at all.
about it.
Not part of
Listen,
that.
my grandfather used to put hands on these people back in the day. And yes, most of those people back in my grandfather's day, they did not want to see the civil rights movement succeed either. Why? They would have to get off their ass and go do something. Like I keep saying, and no one is ever talking about it. But most of those civil rights workers was given up by black people who did not want to participate in the process. They liked it being the only person who was there that was them. That's why a lot of these working class black men want to attach themselves to dumbass issues like deliberately misunderstanding DEI or not really understanding any minority programs because they're the quote unquote only one at their job. I'm like, don't you understand? They could just get rid of your ass for any reason. Do you have 4 years of actual wages saved up to where you can actually have the opportunity to sue your actual employer? And no one's in that position.
Yeah,
No one.
yeah,
No one's in that position.
yeah.
They're
Very.
okay with running that type of do interference. They're okay with it. They are so okay with sitting there and pretending like they're winning. The first 2 weeks showed you what was going on. Listen, Byron Donalds and the Scott guy from South Carolina, they didn't get a position. Why? It is normal not to see your ass there or around. It's normal not to see your ass there.
And
It's
they never
normal.
and the administration had no plans on bringing these people in.
No plans. Getting new that shit up front.
They knew it up front. And Tim Scott, I love you, literally bending over, licking this man's tail, and he looked at him like, sit down, Negro. You just play your role, but you're not going to be close to this game, not this time around. And that's just how they played it.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy had to be reminded again on Tim Pool's podcast. You can say what you're saying, but you're not white. So they don't take you seriously. They look at you like a bootlicker. That's what they look at you as. They're
That's
like, well, I
exact.
can just buy my way into whiteness. It's like, dude, you can't buy your way into whiteness, Vivek Ramaswamy. You can't buy your way into whiteness. Because if you could buy your way into whiteness, that means whiteness don't exist. The whole point is to have power over poor whites, not to give power to people who can buy their way into whiteness. Just because you say a whole bunch of unscrupulous things doesn't make you part of whiteness like that. Like Ed Coulter went onto his podcast to tell him, you're not Team Wasp. We don't care. What you say is great, but at the end of the day, you got to sit your ass down.
And Colton let him know.
We
Look,
have look. They don't need DEI white supremacists. They already got enough. They got enough. They got a long bench. They don't need your help. It's great that you're here, but it's also great that we don't give your ass power either.
exactly, exactly. That's exactly it. And these Negroes who were sitting here think that they can get their proximity to whiteness and gain power through that are not going to gain anything there as well. But many of them are really not even looking for power. These people are just looking here just to stand around, maybe get a handout and just chill out for a little bit, but support their program against their own. Support their program against their own because they feel like that those people, those white folks should be in charge. And that they shouldn't be in charge, that they should be subordinate. That's ultimately how they play it. Subordinate, really subordinate to them.
And we're talking about a woman with no type of political office or anything.
That's
Talking to a
right.
person who ran for president. Telling you, like, look, I, as who I am, is way better than you. Not only that, I'm gonna tell you to your face. I'll tell you to your face. And
And she
he
been
still pretend like he down and part of the team. But a lot of these dudes don't understand is how you look at black women is how they look at black people in general.
yeah.
Again, you think that black women are subhuman are great. These people think that you are part of the subsegment of the group that you're throwing under the bus. And that's what they think about you too. That's what they think about you too. And it's always been that way.
And one thing, they love seeing that because they know if you're not together, you and your woman are not working together, y'all are separated. It just makes it that much easier to keep the status quo. And then you have these crazy Negroes who are out pushing this while they are concentrating as a fist. You're trying to separate and be all be all dispersed. And with all this with all not only women thing, but now with this ADOS and all this other insignificant
ADOS,
dog
FBA. You want
FBA
to
and all.
start over with a brand new identity but you want to take all the accomplishments of the accomplished group that you know your ass is a part of right along with you while you start the conversation over.
and
What?
separate and separate and
What?
make sure that it makes sure that weakens you while they concentrate on you. You're trying to become dispersed. I mean, it's just it's crazy thinking. It's just it's craziness. But that's what we got. But that's the state of things right now, and folks have to folks have to really, the critical thinkers are understanding kind of what's going on. We have a dearth of critical thinking going on currently. um, I think in many sectors of the black community, not all of it, certainly we have some very critical thinkers there. um, but certainly here in this manosphere, it's it's at a dearth as well.
Yep. But this is where we at though. It's and it's like as bad as we making it look, they have to keep playing the same song forever. They have to keep making sure that this stuff, like they have to keep this same conversation going, which is easy. It is very easy to see how easy this is, but at the end of the day, a lot of these dudes don't understand. Like your any black person job isn't going to be replaced by actual Latinos leaving the country. They're whitening up most organizations across the country right now. And you have to understand that you're not going to replace those people who left because there's a training pipeline that's not going to agree with your actual system. To go, how long does it take for a person to go from not being trained in any type of IT career field to being trained in it to where they can go and actually be able to be competent enough to actually challenge other people in the environment?
I would have to say you would need, if you're going to get some certifications and really get a little time in, you give yourself a good strong year. I would say 2 years would really get it done, but at least a year to get some good knowledge where you can come in kind of somewhat entry level and be somewhat effective and be in a position to really learn a lot more in an environment.
So imagine if they're kicking people out of the country who can't look for another job and they're competent. How is untrained personnel just going to ride in and just take those jobs? Like, why did they think that there was going to be pole position for those jobs? Like, why did they think that? Like, what is that based
It,
on?
it's not even a question. I don't think about these guys even saying they're going to take these jobs because they're not going to take it. What they want is, maybe I can't do that job, but I damn sure don't want you to do it. And that's the level of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with this statement. I agree with this statement. I don't think there's a community. I think there's individual households of failure that they're trying to remake the community as the community, as the people who don't have their stuff together. They're trying to be the actual community and trying to pretend like they care about people who don't have their shit together. And that's what we have. Unaccomplished individuals who want to be entertainers, who are trying to pretend like they care about everybody else in the community when their productivity piece is based off of failure, not success, not hard work, not any type of career field, but entertainment and fucking comedy. Not real people who are actually part of the community, if you ask me. Leveraging ignorance for laughs has nothing to do with getting your own shit together personally. No, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. So to go, President Elon Musk. So for the people who actually pretending that they actually care about the outcomes. Was it was a President Elon Musk even floated on the campaign trail for Trump? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. At the end of the day, most of the stuff happening right now, all of it was not predicted by anybody because we know Donald Trump did not run on a campaign that was based on anything that's happening now. He did not run on a campaign based on taking over the Gaza Strip. He didn't run a campaign based on that. He didn't run a campaign based on putting Elon Musk in charge and unconfirmed personnel who could come in and shut down government agencies because he's not giving information to classified information. You can't just walk in and just start shutting down government institutions because you don't have access to their classified files. We're talking about a person who's not registered as a foreign agent. We're talking about a person who the richest man on the planet. Could you imagine if Barack Obama allowed George Soros into his cabinet to start doing the stuff that actual Elon Musk is doing? Nobody would stand for it. No one would stand for it. But at
Oh,
the end of the day,
I'm sorry, Moti. I fell off. I'm sorry.
and doing the things that are going on now. Nicole, do you think these people would stand for George Soros, who name you don't hear anymore after Elon Musk has been in the administration? Could you imagine if George Soros just start walking into government agencies and start shutting them down? What the
You
out?
you, you would have the outrage you would have seen would have been it have been some it would have been on a January 6th like level. So George Soros, no, you don't even hear him now, but now you've got this Musk, running all through, and it's incredible, man. But we see what the hypocrisy really is all about, and we see what's really going on here. Um, so it really wasn't about so much about Soros and all; it was about these guys being in control, and um and they don't care who. If as long as they're on these guys being in control and they're on their side, they don't care who's at the top. So they don't care about Musk. Musk is up in there. These guys seem to be fine with it. They're okay, no problem.
Yeah,
Soros, nowhere in the picture.
and uh, I mean, but he got a hell of a deal. $250 million plus buying a social media platform. It's the reason why this guy's president right now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. It's been a really good deal for Musk. He's done
It
very
has
well.
been. Think about it. He's about to get 200 plus billion for his actual AI thing that China came off the top rope and disrupted. But at the end of the day, he's still shutting down government agencies with no Senate confirmation.
Well, they closed him down a bit. You saw that today. You know how
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
they put the kibosh on him for a bit. So um,
No, no, no. But it was the judiciary that gave him this power in the first place.
yeah,
Yep. It is in his last throws. Because you have to understand that Donald Trump has executive intentions. It is the judiciary who has to clean up after him. But the fact that he thinks that he can legislate from executive orders that he could just stop transgender from being in sports. It just shows you how stupid the American people are. Like you don't get to legislate that shit from an executive order. Like you don't get to overturn the Constitution. Like, oh, I'm gonna stop birthright citizenship when your wife is foreign and your mother is foreign. Like, like it doesn't make any sense that these people don't understand this shit.
Well, people don't know how things work. This guy is not legislating at this stage. He's executive orders. No, you legislate through Congress, through passing bills. This guy is just trying to, like you said, these folks do not know how this thing works. They don't understand how the system works. They don't understand it. You know, but yet, nobody's questioning. The problem is that with a lot of these executive orders, which can be overturned by a new
Yes, it
president,
can.
whoever comes in, it can be quickly overturned just as easily. Um, because he's going after all the executive orders and stuff that Biden put forth during his administration. He's trying to overturn all that, but yet this guy's not legislating. But you have to understand how this system works, and a lot of people just don't know. And quite frankly, the media has done a very poor job, of course, in 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 alerting people exactly how this really works. So there's a lot of ignorance out there currently.
The truth is an advertisable position. Like the media has understood that shit since Bush, Obama. The truth is an advertisable position. And if you're unwilling to create your own media around your truth, you're gonna lose every time. Because these dudes are not trying to give you anything. The only thing they're trying to do is bring Dems on and ask them why they lost. They don't bring conservatives on and ask them what they won whenever some stupid shit happened. Like they don't even ask them anything about what they won.
Not at all.
I mean, it's just crazy because a lot of these people they don't even know what's going on. Not even trying to care about what's going on, but they're trying to graft themselves to the success of the administration when they don't give a damn about them either.
Certainly don't. They certainly don't.
I mean, where the PhDs at? Like all this talk about black boys, but they keep getting rid of diversity initiatives in all these places, and you don't hear any of these people say anything because these people are not working class people. They never intended to be working class people. The only thing they wanted to do was live off the collective apathy of black people not getting shit for free. That's what they wanted. They wanted that. They wanted to sell mis and disinformation rather than fix things. Stealing the valor of personnel who actually died participating in the process and actually did formulate things on their own that the federal government took up. Most of these people are frauds. They know they're frauds. They know that.
Yes, sir.
They know it. And it's so transparent and it's so easy that we point it out, and you're going to see them run into the same boat every single time because they can't get away with it. The only thing you got to do is ask BGS more. Great. The black women are not in charge right now. What is your actual timeline to fix things for black boys? And just sit back and watch the fireworks go off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be called stupid. You're gonna be called ignorant. You're gonna did you read the morning head report? Did you read did you read this? Did you read that? You know? Yeah, so
Doubtful he even read it. But if you listen to these guys like him, they're moving much closer to sounding like white supremacists. So
oh no,
that's
no,
what I'm
no.
saying. Just listen to what these
They are.
guys are saying.
The Graham
Just listen.
Cracker Caucus is quite real. It's quite real.
Yeah.
These people are trying to pretend that getting rid of DEI programs actually help them out when they are the actual DEI hires who don't have any fucking skills in anything. Like these people, like, oh, why don't you get the Latinos out of the country so that way they had a way of getting a job? Like, how on earth are you gonna be able to get any type of job when you up all night complaining about bitches online? Like, how the fuck are you gonna be able to come get these jobs from other men who actually women know how to work with them, but your sorry ass won't actual women who actually don't even want to fuck with you? Like, it's like, man, this is crazy.
A lot of these guys are saying that that was a that the women issue was much worse than racism and institutional racism that was going on.
Oh yeah,
That's a thought
said the
process.
complex.
That's a
Said the complex.
yeah, yeah,
How are you
yeah.
gonna be able to run your micro mobility business without dealing with feminism first? I'm like, I didn't know that I had to fucking fight the whole feminism shit before I had to actually go get my shit together individually. I didn't know anything about that. Like, wow.
That's the mindset you're dealing with.
I mean, but he did vote for white nationalism. He needs white nationalism. So does all these PhDs. Like, listen, man.
Yeah,
Like, listen. If okay, most of these unfathered dudes in the manosphere, unfathered dudes, they can't even fit in with men anywhere. Any type of productive dude is not going to tolerate the presence of somebody who don't know anything about how anything works. No one cares. It's like, bro, no one's going to keep tolerating the presence of people. Remember, we've been in the black manosphere now. I've been here 13 years. He's been here as long as I've been here. LER movement been here far longer. Mr. Research been here since 2007. Trust me, there's people who've been here a long ass time. But at the end of the day, most of these individuals who claim to be on the other side, they're not part of the process of changing anything.
yeah. I've been around here since about 2006, 2007.
Boom. Say it again, Ghost.
Yeah,
That's what it always have been. That's what they're here to do. They decided, and Kevin Samuels also decided, that turning the actual voice on the women rather than personally getting your shit together was the move. That's what they wanted to do. They did not care about fixing these things. They wanted to blame other people. That's what they were here for. And all of these coffin kissing dudes was doing that shit. And a lot of these dudes became professional YouTubers slash entertainers once they saw they can keep men lost for profit. Keeping men lost for profit. Because a lot of these dudes don't have any other place to go and they're stranded on Negro. That's what they are. Stranded. Can't go nowhere. Can't fit in with nobody. Don't know what's going on. Can't organize. Don't know the history. Don't want to know the history. The only thing they want to do is profit and benefit without any personal engagement or involvement. That's what I'm saying. There was a thank you for living, Kevin Samuels, for all these grifters after the first year. There wasn't shit else any year after that. Any year after that. Once that lady took over that channel, she seen them dumbass motherfuckers and how much money that they wanted to make off of her father's name. She kicked these dumb motherfuckers to the curb. As anybody would see that. But at the end of the day, this is what most of these people wanted to support. They wanted to support that shit rather than simply getting your shit together, moving forward. You're already living in a liberal environment, so what's the problem here? What's the problem here? It's so easy to get your shit together and move forward. Like, listen, me, look, I don't have to be diplomatic with anybody. I got my motherfucking shit together and I make way more money than all people in this fucking space. And I'm not fucking negotiating with these dudes. There ain't nothing to negotiate with. Look, I'd rather throw away all these fucking dudes than to do business with them. I'd rather these dudes start talking about popularity when it comes to substance, just to prove how stupid they are as human beings. I'd rather do that shit rather than trying to have these people around who's eventually gonna stab me in the back. I don't need that shit, dude. I've been through military, police force, bounty hunter. Like, dude, you guys are nothing. I've already been through this shit with tons of groups of people, untrustworthy personnel. Staying away from these group of obvious personnel is supremely easy because I know what the problem is. You refuse to learn what the history is, and you want somebody else to do all the work. That easy. I agree. How many? How many? Nego, how many campaign rallies you think these so-called black conservatives been
Very,
to?
very few, slim and none, and Slim's out the room. So that's about what I would say.
All right. So,
Slim few or
how many
none.
fundraisers that you think these dudes did to fundraise on the behalf of the white supremacists that they actually support? How many did you think done that? You don't see it, and it's like,
Oh my gosh.
but everybody's a
Uh,
Democratic shield, but nobody is a Republican shield.
no, he a
I love how
Democratic
that works.
shield. He a
No,
Democratic shield.
how dare you know what's going on in society? You a shield. You
You
a
a Democratic
shield.
shield. Oh my god.
Democratic shield, and it's like, but you can run this fundraising operation based off of deliberately misunderstanding American history and you not be considered a Republican shield? Are you serious?
It, it's 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 incredible. And they're still bootlicking right now. Still doing
Still, still.
still doing it. People call themselves uh pro blacks and all that, and they up in this they back
ADOS, FBA. Look, all them dudes are radio silent.
and
They
they,
love
but
the fact that shit's getting worse. They
but
love it. Because
oh,
at the
they're
end of the
shining
day,
on white
they
supremacy. They love it.
love it. They
They
love
love it.
it.
They
Look
love
at what these white people doing to us. Like, they are actually not,
it.
because
Look
a
at
lot of these people are not getting through on these minority programs, man. And you got to create a child that's good enough to be able to go through these programs. You know these dumb motherfuckers ain't trying to create no children like that. Like, dude, there used to be, there's a guy here right now who claims he has a straight A student daughter, and this motherfucker like, well, what everybody worried about DEI? Like, that's a love language for dumbass people, right? Like, they always want to come through gaslighting and trolling and all that kind of other stupid shit because they don't have the ability to look at things in a logical manner. They were able to survive in society without being able to actually put anything forth anything. And a lot of these people are hiding in the South. I'm talking about your Texas, your Arkansas, your Mississippi, your Louisiana, your Alabamas, and your motherfucking Georgias. And I'm talking about Atlanta area. A lot of these people are full of shit. All of them are full of shit. Anytime they start talking about pro blackness, there is no pro blackness without political participation. How are you pro black without political participation? Political participation is where the change take place.
But remember, they have no bottom line to what they're talking about, so they're bullshitters. They got no bottom line to what they're talking about. They're not going to
Bruh.
get out here and move anything. No, no, they got no bottom line, bro. Remember, all y'all out here, remember, you're talking to somebody and they don't have a bottom line. They're trying to bullshit you. Don't ever forget that. My old man taught me that decades ago. Never forgot it, and it served me well. So
And
let's leave
look,
it at that.
and mine said, look, if you got a pathway to progress, it's time you start explaining it to us. and we gonna hold you to that. Don't come here selling your highfalutin apathy. No, no, no. I don't want it. I don't give a shit that you live in Chicago or Philadelphia or St. Louis or Kansas City or Baltimore or LA or any of these high crime areas. Fuck that. What are you doing to change things in your environment? And don't tell me that you've been in Philadelphia or Chicago for 20 some fucking years and you ain't changed shit in your environment, but you trying to hold Democrats to task. Instantaneous fucking stole on. Fuck you talking about. You gotta take responsibility for where you fucking live at, bro. Look, there's nothing that we gonna solve in Colorado that's gonna spill over on your dumb ass and any other places that I just fucking named. Not one. Not one. Listen, if you want to listen to these third party motherfuckers in these highly liberalized areas like California and fucking New York, that's your dumb ass. That shit is
Well,
on your ignorant dumb ass for fucking believing people who are third party in a highly liberalized fucking society. It just shows the depth of your fucking stupidity. The depth of it.
listening to the crap they're pushing, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Look, look. I know you can't respond. I know you can't respond. I know you're not gonna jump up here if the fucking links drop. I know you're not gonna drop the link for me to come up there. Because at the end of the day, I could just ask you simple fucking questions. Simple questions. All this shit about not picking a side, staying home. I'm proud that you didn't participate in the process. Black men are heroes for not participating in the process. All this stupid shit going on, man. But at the end of the day,
Goofiness,
they're just running grifts on people. That's why I never
goofiness.
really trusted these fucking entertainers. These entertainers don't fuck with you like that. Look, you don't see Snoop Dogg or Nelly or who is this dude who used to be a drug dealing piece of shit and got his name stolen from a
Rick
dude from
Ross.
Clarksville, Mississippi. Yeah, Rick Ross. You don't see none of the motherfuckers out here talking about what happened in the Trump administration after the performances were over. If you really think that I'm gonna get a T-Mobile phone because Snoop Dogg is doing a motherfucking commercial for it, you must be out of your fucking mind. I ain't fucking with nothing like that. Nah, dude, that's a motherfucking mark on your soul forever. No, sir. No, sir. End of the day, this is on y'all to figure this shit out. It is your own personal responsibility to learn about the history of this country. It is not my job to be preaching this shit inside your goddamn face. This is your job. If you have enough time to watch the Cat Williams interview with fucking Shannon Sharp, you should know that this shit was being talked about in the seventh fucking grade. Seventh fucking grade. If they taught it in the Mississippi Delta, they taught it everywhere the fuck else too. But deliberately skipping over that shit is a failure on your part. Look, every time we have a conversation, we have these political ignorant motherfuckers who just walk in. We're like, hey man, did you vote? Okay, who'd you vote for? Man, I don't like, hey man, get the fuck out of this conversation, bro. Relocate your ass back to Tariq Nasheed. Okay? Take your ass back over there. We won't need you over here. We don't need pretend motherfuckers who live in fucked up areas who don't try to change shit. And every time we're trying to talk about how things work, you want to bring your high level, high apathy, low information, zero participation. No fucking excuse for it. Absolutely fucking none. You live in a liberal fucking area, don't participate in the process, and you complain about immigrants, Mexicans, or motherfucking transgender motherfuckers in sports. You're a fucking fool. Dumb ass motherfucker. I have no fucking use for you. No tolerance for your fucking presence. None. None. You better stay tied to that fucking entertainment. That's the only motherfuckers who's gonna tolerate your dumb ass presence. It's people who don't give a fuck about you either.
Who out
They
here
constantly
is
learn shit.
who out here is seriously moving? Listen to any of these entertainers anyway. Who's listening to them? I'm not.
Who? Who?
I'm not listening to them. Who's serious out here listening to them? Really? Seriously, think about who's really listening to these people.
Say it again. He did that shit, and the women dog walked his ass right on TV, and he started crying on fucking TV.
Well, yeah, well, Gail King, and then
Yes, he
remember
did.
remember
Yeah,
Susan. Remember Susan Rice and them started getting involved. He was like, "All right,
yeah, yeah.
shit, fall back."
Fall the fuck back, doghouse. Fall the fuck back.
Fall back.
I can't believe it, man. I'm in Williamsport, PA. I went to the liquor store. I seen a gin and juice fucking display for Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. I'm like, every time I see that shit, I'm like, if you ever bring this shit to my attention, that these fucking animals are part of our fucking culture, you don't get the shit slapped out of you. Nobody consider these people part of our fucking group. They're part of their own group called entertainer. God, you let this loudmouth motherfucker who you you got to listen to. I mean, but this is how stupid motherfuckers are, right? Like you listen to and watch the game, but you got to watch the game be interpreted for you by some yelling and screaming ass 5'2" dude. I can't tolerate such fucking stupidity, man. It's like, look, if they don't have a reason to fucking waste their fucking time, they invent one out of whole cloth. They'll do anything not to learn what the fuck is going on. They're gonna find somebody to hide their cowardice behind.
Very true. Very true.
But this is what we
Um,
are, man. You have
um,
to understand that. Look, your first level of fighting back is your own productivity piece. The second level of fighting back is where you chose to fucking live at and how you gonna fight the actual system itself. And the third, which goes along with the other two, is actually fucking participating in organizing and donating the shit. That's how this works. Or else you can spend all your time on up all night dumb nigga live streams, listening to people who's trying to divest you from the fucking process and trying to make you feel sorry for your dumb ass self. Man, fuck out of here.
oh boy.
Bro, these dudes ain't got no problem running ahistorical conservative interference for Trump. They're trying to graft themselves to his victory, but they don't know how to benefit off of it. It's like, dude, you're not going to benefit off of it. You're not up there with them. Period. You're not even represented as part of the fucking administration. If the people who kiss his ass the most, Tim Scott and Byron Donalds, are not part of the administration either, what the fuck you look like trying to attach yourself to this shit? What is it?
the these guys actually think that they can, play that white proximity games, and that this is going to really help to advance them. I mean, they are of this impression that this is what the case is. They believe it, and a lot of them, are just self haters in so many ways. But, and they'll sit back, what are they talking about? Ah, blah, blah." But they'll start screaming. But yet, when you ask them, what are they really going to go? Well, we're going to get that money. And we go, yeah, okay,
Dude,
okay,
and there haven't been no reparations talk, none of that shit.
N-
None of
n-
it.
reparations,
Gone.
reparations
Gone.
all off the table. You don't hear him talk about that anymore. Reparations off the table. you start talking about, these ADOS, FBA, all the, all of this, what do you call their agenda off the table, off the table,
Tangibles 2020 off the table. Off the table.
off the table. Well, if they're gonna put it on the table, then I don't see any of them going up in the White House and pushing their agendas. I don't see any of that.
Look, I don't see no 18-point DEI agendas being pushed by nobody on the third party who's in California. I don't see that shit. I don't see people who's up all night having dumb nigga live streams, misinformation portals. I don't see it. I don't see the
Nope,
24-hour BGS network, BGS and friends covering anything of
nope.
substance. And it
With,
looks
with
like a whole bunch of people with a little bit more sense have dropped off from these dumb nigga live streams. I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, yeah. I saw one brother. He was with him for a while, and then next thing you know, they started going. Well, they tried to go in on him when he started asking some highly legitimate questions, and I haven't seen him on there since. But when you want to try to push misinformation and a narrative, the sharper people that you're going to have with you are going to fall off, especially when they start asking
You know what's
legitimate
gonna happen?
questions.
You know what's gonna happen? You go bring up your BGS information in the real political discussion, and they're gonna run your ass out the fucking room.
Well, that's not going to stand anywhere besides where that is. That's not going to stand in any legitimate, you know.
Hey, look, you're not gonna play that better call it more shit in the middle of a political discussion, man. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man, they're just gonna run your ass out the room for being stupid as fuck. Cause this shit is too easy to fucking see. The history is too easy to look at. But if you're just this fucking stupid, yes, you deserve to get ran off the fucking plug by these fucking white dudes. And I like it every single time they fucking do it to you, dumbass. That's on them, man. So, gone. Any final words before we get up out of here?
No, MOT. I think you broke things down pretty clear. I think this was, a lot of stuff is starting to speak for itself now as we start to really see what's going on. And
Look, we're only a couple weeks in. They got to keep this gaslighting of you going for the next 3 years and 10 months. You got
it's
3 years and 10 months to not notice what the fuck is going on with you. Because here's what's going to happen that budget is going to be a motherfucker.
oh
Dude, they're
man,
going to cut all types of fucking spending for all types of these fucking programs. Look, black men are gonna come back to the table far faster than black women will. Let me tell
it's
you,
and it's gonna be real. Oh, it's
it's
gonna be
more.
real.
Come on, look, we gotta cut all. Like, look, when they're talking about cutting government spending, they're talking about cutting shit that people need in favor of tax cuts. They
And
did it the last time.
tax cuts for the super rich, and it's going to have a very strong effect on black men and black boys especially.
Yes, they are. So we're gonna check on Tiosan Johnson in another couple of weeks to see what type of live streams that he's gonna talk about other than his DEI agenda that he was supposed to bring forward. We got Andre 3000, this doctor, that guy who was supposed to have voted for Trump. Shout out to him. He did pick a side, but he's not doing anything about actually making sure that he gets something out of the side that he picked, which is the whole reason why he picked a side in the first place. So
Yeah, I mean,
look,
if you pick a side, and let's say your side wins, there should be some ostensible gains that are coming out of it for you. Your interest should be getting met. You're voting for your interests. What are their interests?
you ever heard
That's
Ron Neal talk about organizing with the people at the actual? You haven't heard Ron Neal talk about any of that shit, have you? I don't think he has talked about it. No, I don't think he
no,
has.
no,
No, I don't
no.
think he has. I mean, there's all these joint live streams, but there's no. What have you actually got into doing that? But I'm just saying, you got to look at the self-proclaimed air traffic controller slash, you know, programmer slash, you know,
Hmm.
all these other things that this guy seems to be, but with no proof. But that's where we are, man. Listen. The only reason why you can have high complaints about the political process is because your ass ain't part of it, but you expect to benefit from it. So,
Well, well. Listen, let's hope these crypto portfolios run
yes,
run through the roof. Let's hope for that.
no wallet shown, no nothing, but they crypto niggas. Okay. So that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through on the man tomorrow. And that's Nagone 11. I wish you guys a rest of your wish you guys a rest of your night to be safe. Later.